Okay, now we are at part 3. Part 3 is generally going to be more difficult than part 1 and part 2. If your foundation of part 1 and part 2 is good, then part 3, you'll make use of the knowledge that you learned in chapter 6 to apply over here. Let's look at this. In part 3, usually you'll factorize, not by simple factorization where you bring a common factor out. You must either use the multiplication frame approach or you must use the special identity. Let me give you an example of the first question. Question 1. In this case, they ask you to simplify, for example, 3x squared minus 9x over x squared minus 9. So you know there's a minus again as before. In order to simplify, you need to factorize. The numerator is quite easy to factorize. You can bring 3x out. And then what you're left with is, let me write this properly again. And you're left with x minus 3. Now for the denominator x squared minus 9, how do you factorize this? If you remember, a square minus b square is a plus b, a minus b. So what happens is, in this case, x square can be written as x square minus 3 square. And this answer becomes x plus 3, x minus 3. So this is a case where you have to use the special identity to simplify. Let me erase this away. And now, with this in place, you can find the common factor. X minus 3 and x minus 3 is common. So you're left with 3x over x plus 3. Let's try another question of the same type. For example, let me just pick x squared minus 4 over x squared plus 2x. So again, the numerator is a square minus b square. So in this case, I can write it as x square minus 2 square over x bracket x plus 2. The numerator I can factorize as x plus 2, x minus 2 divided by x bracket x plus 2. Then this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cancel the common, and the final answer is x minus 2 over x. So far, I've been teaching you using the identity. Now, the next question, I'm going to teach you how to use using multiplication frame. Let's look at question 3. This is x squared minus 3xy minus y squared over 3x minus 15y. In this case, the numerator definitely, there are 3 terms. Either you use a special identity, but in this case, you cannot square root 10. So you cannot use special identity. You have to use the multiplication frame matrix, multiplication frame approach. So let's try. X squared should be here. Minus 10y squared should be here. And minus 10y can x and x is quite simple. So this must be 2y and this must be 5y. But because of the negative sign, I'm going to put a negative here. You end up with minus 5xy and this is 2xy. And if you look at this, these two will add up to 3xy, exactly what we want. So I can simplify the numerator as x plus 2y and x minus 5y. And the denominator, I can just bring the common factor 3 out. I'm left with x minus 5y. Usually for this kind of question, there will be a common factor. And if you notice, x minus 5y and x minus 5y I can cancel off. And then the final answer is x plus 2y over 3. This is the final answer. Okay, let me do one last question on this approach. Let me just erase this away. And then I will do the last question before you try some quiz that I've set for you. Okay, so the question is simplify x squared plus xy minus 12y squared divide by x squared minus 3xy. So you know that the numerator seems a little bit complicated. So it can only be done by using the quadratic multiplication frame approach. So I'm going to try and see whether I can factorize it. So x squared should be at the top left and minus 12y should be at the bottom. So xy, I can put it as 3y, this is x, and 4y. And since I want positive, I'll put negative here. So I'm left with minus 3xy and I'm left with 4xy. And then if I add this together, yes, I got xy. So this factorization is I will x minus 3y and then x plus 4y. I'm going to erase this away since I've already factorized. And then the denominator, I can factorize x out. I'm left with x minus 3y. You see, I get the common denominator again. I'll cancel this off. And then the final answer is x plus 4y over x. Okay, this covers the fourth type of question, and you should be able to do question 3 right now.